Alrighty, I successfully completed week 4 of The Artist's Way, recovering a sense of integrity. If you're new here and you're a little bit confused as to what's going on, I have previous videos that you can go catch up on. The Artist's Way is a 12-week course to reignite creativity and just living a more creative life. So what I normally do is kind of go over the teachings in week 4, what I learned, how it resonates with me, and kind of go from there. The author goes into kind of more about the morning pages, which is a daily task that you have to do every week, every day, every morning. It's basically journaling in the morning, just right when you wake up and just writing down 3 pages of just stream of consciousness. Pages allow you to differentiate your real feelings and official feelings, basically feelings that are on public display, whereas your real feelings you kind of keep a secret, keep to yourself, or possibly not even honest with yourself about those real feelings. I think we all have a habit of saying that we're okay about something when really it goes a lot deeper than just being okay. The morning pages give us a safe space to express how we're really feeling. You can no longer stay in denial when you're doing these morning pages every single day. They won't allow you to avoid issues. When we've been neglecting the pages, like just skipping days and whatnot, it's usually a sign that we're avoiding a piece of truth that is trying to emerge and wants some kind of resolution. The pages help us become more self-aware. They can realign our values. With every day that you're doing the pages, you can start to notice like a drift away from what it is you want to do, your core values. Once you notice, that there's a drift away from your values, you can realign yourself and correct it before you completely go off course, because then it's harder to get back onto that path. You start to identify a new self from forming, asking yourself, who am I now? Discovering boundaries, defining new perceptions, and also letting go of misconceptions. This newfound self-awareness creates clarity in our lives, and with that clarity, naturally creates change. And with any kind of change, there's a gain and a loss. As we gain or regain our creative identity, we lose the false self we were sustaining. There's clear signs when your newfound perception is changing your identity. There's an impulse to sort and discard your belongings, getting rid of the old to make room for new. Definitely felt this impulse even last week. I had this desire to rearrange my furniture and just create this little reading nook. I call it my book nook. Once I rearranged the furniture, I was also kind of taking inventory of all my books, because I had to take them off the bookcase and then put them back on. And I just kind of realized that a lot of the books on there I don't even want to be there. And when you're getting rid of old stagnant stuff that doesn't really relate to you anymore, well then the stuff that's left behind that you really truly care about gets to kind of shine on that bookcase. This all really sounds like the KonMari method, the life-changing magic of tidying, or something like that. I actually did read that book, and I had read it when I was feeling very, very stagnant, and I just did not have the energy to take any of the information into practice. But when you're kind of changing your inside world, you want the outside to reflect the change inside. For instance, last week I felt an urge to change my hair. I had it cut super short, and I changed the colors, just inviting more change into my life. So yeah, it started with books. I just kind of made a little pile of stuff that I want to sell, and it's been just spiraling from there. I'm just grabbing more stuff that I don't want in my life anymore. And so yeah, I plan on listing all of that onto eBay and selling it, and then using whatever money I make to put into my art, my studio, whatever materials or supplies that I need for my shop. So it's just kind of cool to take that old stuff, money that I earn from it, and using it for something that is very important to me right now. Think of yourself as an accident victim, walking away from the crash. Your old life has crashed and burned. Your new life isn't apparent yet. You may feel yourself to be temporarily without a vehicle. Just keep walking. A lot of this course is like a giant leap of faith. It might seem like nothing is really changing, or like it's subtle changes where like it kind of gets overlooked by yourself, that nothing is really changing around you, when really it is. Things are changing. Like, I am not the same person when I started this course for week 1, or even when I made the intro video. That way different. Another sign that your identity is changing is redefining likes and dislikes. This is something that I've noticed. I've become a bit more vocal on what I like and what I don't like, and because I'm an ever-evolving person, my likes and dislikes are constantly changing. Like lately, it's been a lot easier for me to identify things that I like versus what I don't like, especially when it comes to wanting to get rid of things. I'm finding it a lot easier to decide I want to keep this or I don't want to keep this. I like it, I don't like it. I'm feeling more passionate about my likes and dislikes. I'm starting to understand myself better. The last sign that your identity is changing is a change in energy patterns. When you become more self-aware, you notice very minute things around you. You start to notice these slight little changes in your behavior and your thought patterns, making time for things that you really want to do and stop making excuses about it. I think this also goes back to like wanting to get rid of crap in your life to make room for new. When you do that, when you change a space, when you clean a space, it has this new energy to it. It feels lighter, it feels fresh. It's an inviting place to create in. So the next topic that the author goes into a lot is consuming too much media and the effects that it can have on you. So media like reading, watching TV and movies, listening to podcasts, and using these to escape reality as a way to avoid your own thoughts and feelings. The author asks you to deprive yourself of whatever it is that you are spending too much time doing. It is a paradox that by emptying our lives of distractions, we are actually filling the well. Without distractions, we are once again thrust into the sensory world. So I am definitely guilty of this, mostly with like watching TV and YouTube in general. YouTube is really dangerous because the videos are really short, and I'll just keep watching them thinking that I'm not watching that much, and I really am, because I'm just watching them one right after the other. Or I like to have TV on as background noise when I'm working or doing anything like around the house. And in essence, it's noise. It's a distraction from my inner thoughts. I could be spending that time fully immersed in something and not using it to like numb whatever it is I'm thinking or feeling. Removing these distractions or noise will leave space to hear your inner voice and more time for other healthy activities that are likely being neglected because you're doing so much of that one activity that's taking away. It's really all about a balanced life, which is honestly one of the hardest things about life. Doing too much of the same exact thing doesn't really allow you to step out of your comfort zone. It doesn't really invite you to try new things and change up your routine. Getting rid of the distraction leaves more room for creativity and inspiration. The author asks to deprive yourself of whatever it is that you're consuming too much of. I actually haven't done it this week, but I'm going to try it, and I think it will definitely have a positive impact, but I do also think that I'm probably going to have a lot of resistance, removing that thing that gives me comfort. I also think that it's not reality to completely remove something out of your life that you enjoy. Like I said, it's all about a balance. You can still do that thing, but just be more conscious of how much of it are you consuming, and is it taking away from other healthy aspects that I'm neglecting. After the week's content or teachings, there is a section for tasks. I don't typically share that because they're really, really personal. I will, however, share the check-in questions. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? Tantrums often show up as skipping the morning pages. How is this experience for you? This was the first week that I did 7 out of 7 of the morning pages. It's especially challenging on days that I go into work. Like I would have to wake up a lot earlier, which I know I can do, but it's really tough. I'm definitely not a morning person. So on those days, if I didn't manage to do the morning pages in the morning, I would make them up in the evening. And I know that that's not really the point of the pages. It's to do them right when you wake up. But the way I see it is I'd rather do it versus not do it at all. Question 2. Did you do your artist date this week? Does your artist get to do more than rent a movie? What did you do? How did it feel? I did do my artist date this week, even after feeling a lot of resistance to not do it. I'm still trying to understand why I've been kind of neglecting that side of myself, my artist child, why I've been neglecting time to play, time just for myself and to be creative. I'm still trying to understand it. It's definitely a topic that comes up in my morning pages, but the fact that I'm questioning it, I think, is a huge sign of growth, whereas I would just pretend that there is no issue going on, that there's nothing to solve. So this week I spent time working on mushroom terrarium jewelry. This is something that my past self used to really like doing. It's how I started my Etsy shop. That's the stuff that I would sell in the beginning days. And honestly, I still get a lot of enjoyment out of it, which is why I'm still making them, and I still will be offering them in my shop. This artist date actually surprised me. Yeah, I had a lot of resistance to just sit down and go for it. But once I put all the materials in front of me on my desk, I just surrendered, and it just naturally came back to me, and it surprised me. I haven't made these in a very long time. It was just a pleasant surprise that working on them is just a completely natural thing. It's a natural flow for me. Let's just say it was chaotic. There was just stuff everywhere. But sometimes creativity is super messy. So this resistance to the artist date poses questions that I've been asking myself within the pages, like, do I feel like I don't deserve time for play? Do I feel guilty for not using the time for chores and other responsibilities? The answer is probably yes. I probably do feel guilty. I probably feel like I don't deserve it. I'm still figuring this all out. Question 3. Did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? Yes, I did experience synchronicity. I repeatedly saw the same numbers on the clock, 222. I looked up what 222 symbolizes because I didn't really know. And apparently it symbolizes new beginnings, which is really eerie because I'm on the verge of a new beginning, a new adventure. Later this month, my life is going to change quite a bit. The change is something that I initiated, and I intentionally invited this change into my life. So it just made me think of that, and these little synchronicities are a reminder that I'm on the right path. Something else that happened was when I was drinking tea one night, those Tazo teas, the little tag on the tea bag, they usually have like a quote. And the quote that I had was one that I had never seen before, and I drink a lot of those teas. The quote said, "Remember, you are a child of the universe." Right when I saw that quote, it immediately made me think of the artist child, my artist child, and how I've been neglecting that child and not allowing it to have playtime. All right, so other things that happened this week. I'm slowly starting to create a balance in my life, which is something that I really, really have a hard time with. Like noticing that I'm neglecting areas of my life that would really enhance my life if I gave those activities more time. For instance, I have a habit of neglecting my physical body, not getting enough of exercise, eating poorly, not getting enough sleep, or sleeping too much. I also have a hard time just allowing myself to rest, like feeling guilty to rest. And in week 4, I set aside time to practice yoga in the morning, and it was really great to get back into doing that. Yoga really helps me feel more connected to myself, connected to both my body and my mind. So carving out a bit of time for an activity like that really enhances my quality of life is worth doing, is worth setting that time aside for. I also spent a good part of this week renovating my art studio. So this space behind me actually is not my real studio. I call it my temporary studio. So this past winter, our house got really, really cold. We have a really old house. It's like 120 years old. And my real art studio is downstairs. It's like a sunroom, kind of like an addition on the house. There's lots of windows, there's a door, there's a lot of areas where there's heat escaping. And so it got really, really cold down there. So cold that I couldn't work. It was just so uncomfortable. Even if I had a space heater, I wouldn't be able to do it. So what I had decided on doing over the winter, I had moved my studio to our guest bedroom. It's worked out pretty well. It sucks because a lot of my stuff isn't quite organized. It's just kind of everywhere. And so when I am working on a project, it can get a little tough because I might not be able to find something that I need, which is really frustrating. But other than that, it's worked. There's decent lighting in here, and that's one of the things that helps me work. So yeah, I did a ton of sanding in my studio because I do plan on staining all of the wood. There's molding, there's chair molding, I think that's what it's called. So there's so much sanding to be done. My body was hurting from it. Being in awkward positions with like the sander, and just it put a lot of strain on my lower back, and that was not fun. But yeah, I'm super excited to make that studio truly mine, because once we moved in, we hadn't really done anything to that space. I'm gonna repaint, new lighting, staining. Oh, we're gonna put in hardwood floors so that it matches the rest of the house. And so yeah, I definitely plan on doing like a real like tour of that space once it's finished. Pretty excited about it. And because my days are very numbered in this space, maybe I'll do a tour of this little temporary setup that I have. So I'll probably do the tour in week 5 and kind of lump that in with that video. Like I said in some other past videos, these videos are really hard for me to do. I'm a very self-conscious person. Having to look at myself on video is really, really tough. Even more so editing the videos. But I am really proud of myself for I'm still doing it, even though it is really tough. I'm starting to get better at just accepting that these videos are not going to be perfect. I'm very new at this. I'm here for the growth part of this. And so after I do these videos every week, I'll usually like reward myself with something. I promised myself tea and cookies, and also playing a video game. And it's a video game that I bought like a month ago. And I was really excited to play it when I bought it. And then I just never allowed myself to just play the game. So yeah, I'm going to indulge in cookies and some herbal tea and play my video game Control, and I'm really excited about it. If there's something that you've really been wanting to do, but you haven't been allowing yourself to do it, I invite you to just do that thing for yourself that you desire. Do it and don't feel guilty about it afterwards. You deserve it. You deserve rest. You deserve playtime. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here on my journey with me. I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Thank you.